ready for our next lesson. So today we're going to finish up steering, get the last little touches in. So hopefully, let's double checking. Yep. And so we're going to get all those touches in, get the steering wheel mounted, the cup to hold the shaft into place so it doesn't move as much more. We'll then hopefully get the engine bolted in. We'll see how time goes. You know, like I said, this is a 1-to-1, so we run into problems as we go. I try to kind of line up things so that way I'm not running around the shop the whole time, my garage. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Bring this one in here. All right, so right here is the steering shaft that we were working on last time. And what can happen is this can still move up and down. And so I'm going to put a collar on the inside and I could lock the bearing, but I kind of wanted something right here to hold it in place. So what I'm going to do is I want to build a cup. And so, like I was saying, this was originally designed for a rack and pinion steering. Hence why it has this arch in here and it would hold the rack here. And like I mentioned before, it failed on my wife, and so she doesn't trust it, which I don't blame her either. So we're going to go with the traditional go-kart tie rod steering, which there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I want to hold this little piece right down there to give it a little more stability. So figured let's leave this here. I really like the shape of it. It's not in the MG, but this is where the artistic part of CycleKarts come into. So I'm trying to get everything in view. All right, so what I was thinking about was grabbing a piece of angle iron, and I'll go ahead and I could put that in here. I could bolt it, and then put something there to hold it. Now, this is a 5/8 rod, so the first thing I had in mind was to grab a 5/8 socket and literally just put that on there and weld it in to the angle iron. But I didn't want to sacrifice the socket. And I didn't have any others laying around, surprisingly, Harbor Freight ones. So what I'm going to do is I have some square tubing from another piece. I know this is weird that it's square, but it has a 5/8 opening on it. So this way it will fit on that shaft. So let's go ahead and go through that. All right. We're going to use a little piece of cardboard to create the template that we need. And what I'm going to do, it's always good to keep some cardboard laying around. Whoops. And a knife. All right. Now, sorry, making sure, once again, if you have any questions, you can just text it. There is a delay between when you type and send it to me to this. So that way the YouTube algorithms can make sure that it's a appropriate questions and appropriate videos. All right. So grab my angle iron and we can put the piece of cardboard in there, and then I could trace it, and then I have my piece. Okay. And I have it there. So now I can sit here and I'll go ahead and now I can take this, line it up there. I see the cardboard through the holes. Now I notice that this is off just a little bit from the middle of the shaft, but this is where I'm not building a museum piece. What I'm going to do is I want to mark these holes. And center line of the 5/8 drive, the steering wheel shaft. Now I have these two dots, and I have that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that onto the other side just so I can see it. Okay. This way. Now, because I have such a fun decorative top, I don't want to just put slap a piece of angle iron in there. I want to at least put a shape into it. So what I want to do, let's see here. I want some curves. What I was doing, here we go. So when we shut down for the pandemic, I also teach drafting. And because I didn't know what drafting equipment my students had, to draw circles, I had used quarters, nickels, and dimes and pennies for the different radiuses. I knew the students had that. So it made for some fun drawings for mechanical drafting. Right now, I'm just using a socket just to round those edges over. So that way I get nice rounded corners. Go ahead and trim that. And then what I'm doing is how to put it, we're not going to cut right through. It takes some full cuts. And once again, we're just making a template, so it doesn't have to be too perfect, but I want it to get a nice radius. So I'm just kind of stitching along the line here. Yeah. Go. Same thing. All right. So on the back side. All right. Now I have my two corners. I have my center line, and now let's go ahead and shape this up some more. So what I did is obviously I did this prior to today. That way we're not spending the whole time watching me cut cardboard. And so what I came up with is this. Oops, if I don't drop it. Okay. This way, this will sit down inside here, and the square tubing will sit in this slot. So I then took this template to my angle iron. To my angle iron here, and drew it out, and then using a grinder, I sat there and created this piece right here. Okay? And then this will sit right here, and then the square tubing inside there. Grab that. Find the square tubing on. I still need to weld this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that, smooth it out, and then weld on this side so that this will be nice and smooth. This will then slide down. That's a problem right now. I have to move it a little. So now I have it all there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tack that into, well, not tack, I'm going to bolt that into place. And then we can tack weld it in. Oops. Okay. And when I go to do this, they will be a lot longer. Okay. Okay, so there we go. So now, what I need to do is that over here, I set up the welder. Sorry, that one locked up. Moving everything out of the way. All right. So there was some discussions about welders on the CycleKart's forum page, and my brush is plugged in my link. And I just bought this Harbor Freight welder, which has been very nice to me. Maybe it's just the fact that I like having a welder at home. My neighbors do too, and doing all sorts of little size repair jobs. Okay, safety. Gas on. So I'm running a mix gas, running at what, about 20, because I'm always kind of welding outside. I try to weld outside so I don't have all the sparks inside. All right. Because of all the bearings, I have to make sure I ground to the actual rod. And safety. Oh, and I wanted to talk about that real quick. So I have two pairs of safety glasses here. These are the ones I traditionally wear, and then I've learned about these recently. Now I like these a lot more. Is they stop sparks from coming in this way or that way. So when I do a lot of grinding and welding, I'll switch to this one. But when I'm just doing a quick stuff, it's this. But I really do need to move to this. The problem is these fog up a lot. So I do these. But being a shop teacher, I definitely think I'm going to invest in these for my school, and being that they're safer. And discussion about that. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get that tacked in. Helmet. Got my gloves. Turn the welder on. Gas is on. Okay. I don't know what the webcam is going to do for welding, so let's find out. Obviously, you don't have to tell me because I can't watch the camera and weld at the same time. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just put 2 small tacks in. I'm going to go right there and then right over here. I do have a gap to fill, but that won't be that hard. I filled it. Let's go. There we go. Well, the camera didn't die, so I guess it was okay. All right, so I got my 2 tacks in. Everything's still good. I don't want my grounding stick. So we're good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just fill that in. So now I'm not a welding teacher. My welding experience generally goes to auto body, which is normally known as stitch welding. So it's a bunch of dots, dot, 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 dot. And you move around. So that way it has time to cool. So as if I were to weld, this is wood, so I can't do it. But if this was metal and I needed to weld this stitch in, it would be back here, here. And then I'd start from here. And then what I'd do is once I got that, I would move around. And so that way this had time to cool. So when you do auto body, that metal won't warp because then you're spending hours with a hammer and dolly getting it back to where you need it to be. So that's stitch welding. So when it comes to continuous welding, it's definitely a new ballpark. And then I always weld kind of I do a C or a G would probably be better because they come up a little. So, all right, so let's go ahead and switch back over to this camera, make sure that you're still on view. And let's go ahead and get that in. Fire extinguisher is nearby. Yep. All right. Now we got that set up. What we're going to do, put that out of the way. Okay. And I want to grab a wrench. They should be. And get off the board. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this outside and finish up the welds. So let's take you with me. First, we got to move some stuff. Hot stuff. Throw that out there. Okay, so we got to move a few things. fun working in the garage. One day, we'll have more fun at this. A little fan going here. I don't know how my Arizona friends do this. Okay. Let me put you on the other side. Sorry. Okay, let's go ahead and fill that sucker in. Now, on some of these really large gaps, what I like doing, I don't happen to have any here, is gas rods. So when you do gas welding, you usually have a filler rod. And so it makes it nice to be able to fill in some of these larger gaps with that. So let's go ahead and put my gloves on. It's coming apart. Picky today. Something's not right. Something's not right. The weather's acting up funny. That spool's good. Oh, that's what it was. When I moved it, I hit the wire speed. It's going about 18 volts, 140 on the wire speed. Yep, got the wind coming. Okay. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. That's going to be nice and hot. I want to go ahead and grab my pair of pliers. And have a bucket around the corner. Literally around the corner of that Suburban. I've been dipping it. I don't know why it's so far away. All right, let's take a look at this. My audio is still good. Yep. Crackled when I walked up there. Cords, and cords. There it is. All right. I can't believe the time's going this fast. Now, there's one. I can set that in there. And I'll hold. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna have to finish that up off camera. But what I'm gonna do is I want to sit there. I'm gonna obviously grind that up so it looks cleaner. Clean this shape up, put more weld into that cove there. Grind that cut. Oh, you can't see the bloody thing I'm doing. Let's try that again. There we go. So here's the bracket in place. I'm gonna grind to clean this up. Yep. For the welding experts, yep, I grind. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grind this tack weld off. And I'm gonna full weld on the back side of this rod. So that way this is right up against there. All right. So the next thing I wanted to do on camera was talk about the steering wheel. So, let me. All right. All right. So what I have here, and those that were privy to this information prior, I had it on the Buick Bug prior, and it was a steering wheel that's near and dear to me. It is the steering wheel. This is off of a 1965 MGB GT British Special, so it had a mahogany steering wheel, mahogany dash, and shifter. Beautiful car that I am trying to restore. Uh, Not fully restore. Resto mod. Going to put a bigger power plant in it, uh, and some other independent rear suspension and stuff like that. So the steering wheel won't work, but I thought would be perfectly fitting. Take an MG steering wheel and put it on an MG CycleKart. Now there is some issues on this, so let me bring it over to the camera. Is the mahogany was never taken care of very well. You can see it's splitting. The rivets are going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy Dennis. I was actually hoping it would be here today. Was I ordered some leather, and I'm going to wrap this mahogany with the leather. And so I'll soak the leather down, then wrap the mahogany with that leather, so that way it's protected this. I will put in some wood glue in all this stuff. So yeah, I'm quite excited about that. So let's go ahead and get this thing mounted, and that's about where we're going to call the video on this. Sorry, I'm trying to find the photographer. Anybody want a job? There we go. Okay, so when I set this shaft in, this shaft was originally designed for, remember, it was something else. So it has this 5/8 spindle, no, 5/8, 9/16 threaded here. And so I ordered a 5/8, because it's a 5/8 rod, quick release. And what's neat, this is a 5/8 ID, a 3/4 inch OD. So if I had a 3/4 inch ID, I'm going to get ID pipe for my driving shaft, I could just slide it over this. But because I have a solid rod, because that's what I had, I'm not going to go out and get Oh, I'm off camera. Get new stuff. So what I need to do is put that on there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut that. We're going to cut that off. So I have my angle grinder right here. It's got a floppy disk on, so I got to switch that out. I'll put a fresh one on. There we go. I still have a question. Sorry, gotta look behind me to see if I'm in frame. Which way do you guys put it? I think I asked about it before. Do you put label this way, so then it would be up to the grinder, or do you put it this way, so it's up to you? I don't think it makes a difference. I just put it this way. That's the direction I'd see. So, if you know, I'd be curious. Okay. Go ahead and little fan. I'll be doing major grinding, the solid rod. Actually, this is gonna be kind of tricky. So if I bump that, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, so now it seals the eyes. Okay, so what I did was, my son didn't want to be on camera, so we got this on, and then I had, well, we saw the video of my younger son testing the location, and so I marked where that's going to be, so I'm going to cut that portion off. Let's go ahead and do that. Sorry, I didn't look at the messages. I was catching up. Right. So I'm trying to prevent the sparks from going everywhere. So I'm trying to get them to actually go down into the body section here. So. Okay, boys and girls, that's going to be hot. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was really loud. I just spiked you out. I got to get better at that. Sorry, sorry, sorry. That's going to get loud. Put that off. Now I even have the way to. Yeah. Sorry. Now I need to file that. All I have is a small square file. That's loud. There. No jokes now. Okay, so now we have the collar. Oops, too far. And then we have so. Oops. Just realized this. Put the collar on. Slips and locks there. Let me get it the right direction. All right, let's double check. There we go. Okay, I was a little worried that was sitting, but I didn't have it on the right direction. Get the steering wheel on, it will help. Okay. That is squared, and I want kind of a unique pattern. So let me put the steering wheel on. It's not, this setup has just multiple edges, and then we have the one down here to the side. So this way I would make it squared, is that edge. But on the steering wheel, the holes aren't in that direction. So let's go ahead and bolt the steering wheel onto here. So that way, that. Oh, and I still have the horn button for this put on here. Okay, so the bolts I had were long, and I didn't have time to grind those and get them all cleaned up. So just for quick measures, I'm just tightening this down. And then what I'll do is when I gotta find the horn button. So as soon as I find the horn button, I don't want to permanently put the bolts in until I have that. So there we go. Steering wheel squared. Go ahead and get this camera back over here. Oh, come here. Steering. Wow, that sun's right in there. There we go. So the shaft is, now I can still make adjustments, but it's darn near close. So steering wheel's at proportion, so that way the hands turn and clear that. Sorry. On the rack and pinion style of steering, it's quite unique because I can make a whole resolution, whereas this is like a go-kart. So now I'm just doing it by eye. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fat tack right there. And then I'll be able to finish that other part up off camera. And steering's done. And I just wanted to talk a couple of things before we close. Getting low on my time. And that's where we're going to go. All right, so let's bring the welder back over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tack on, and then I'll disconnect the steering so that way then I can weld all the way around. So. There. And safety glasses. Now I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to check, triple check, measure once, cut 3 times. That's squared, squared. Okay, there. Okay, everything else will be fixed in toe adjustment. Helmet. This. All right, this time I'll remember. There we go. Nice big fat tack. Fire. Nope, good. Oh, check the fire, no fire. Everything looking good. Big fat tack. Let it turn off. It's all hot. You want to pull that off. Makes it easy to get in and out. Steering set up. I just have to do some off-camera work on that bracket. That's going to be beautiful. And then I'll weld that up. That will all be set up. So, and this is all scrap metal pieces that I'm gathering. Other than the actual frame, this is all metal that I've just found laying around on different projects. All right, so let's talk about bearings. So, how do I put this? This is more of a question to those out there on what you would do. Okay. Give me a reference camera on that side. All right, these are called, look at the rest of my parts. All right, stay there. These are called tapered wheel bearings. So they taper, right? These are designed for thrust. So mostly talking about my front wheels. So that way when you make a turn, that thrusting bearing, because it's tapered, will hit the inner race and transfer that pressure more accordingly. The ones, these are Midget CycleKarts, nothing against them. I love these wheels. These are just straight sealed bearings, not tapered. Now, when I first got into this, I got a set of wheels at our motorcycle junkyard, and I bored them out in our school's machine shop that would fit the outer race. Now, this is kind of dirty from the windstorm we had the other day, so that the wheel bearing will sit in there. And it being tapered, one nice thing about it is I could set what's called preload. I could tighten it, and that will give it more resistance. But when I go to turn, there's more strength in a tapered bearing. Now, my question is, how many of you guys have seen, so on the inside, it's just a sealed regular roller bearing. How many of you guys have seen bearing failure? And I have not at all, but that's what these two wheels were set up for, was for that. The spokes were all screwed up. They'll make the proper noise for those that are interested. I did screw those up. So yeah, sorry. But I was just curious. I know everybody's just kind of rolling the regular bearings because one, especially if you get the vintage CycleKart wheels, they have a bearing set that fits perfectly for a 5/8 bolt. You don't have to machine this out or anything. It's just perfect. As many of those know, I overthink everything because that's just me. So I overthought about the pressure on there, and I think the lateral force that you would see on here would go to the spokes prior to the bearings. So was just one thing I wanted to talk about at the end of this video. So let's go over where we're at on our work. Okay, check for any questions. Nope. So not the trash can. Let's go ahead and look at this. So what we have is grind to C to give more steering. So what that meant was to give a little more here, so that way. But I measured it. I'm not needing it. And if I do, I could sit there and hit it with a floppy disk just to give it a little more relief inside here. So a little more relief to give it more steering as it hits that. And what these are the Azusa C that you can order online. Try to find the bracket. Here it is. And it's these guys right here that comes with it. But it just has this plastic bushing right here. And that gave a lot of wobble. Now, we talked about this in the beginning of this. So then I went with this. These are the from Midget CycleKart. They come prefab, so for Arkham's angle aisles and all that, they won't work out unless you have it planned out for that style. So that's that. End of steering support, did that. Steering lock collar, got that on there. Now that it's all welded, good thing to have it on there. Steering wheel, got it. Need to trim it, need to put the leather band on. Brake lines, so let's look at that real quick, and then we'll close this video up. So I have here a Sanrail go-kart brake on a Sanrail setup hanging from the top, because I just like that. Brake line comes down and goes along the body here. And goes through the back of the body there. And it goes to this right here. Get that better framed. This is a motorcycle front brake and rotor. Now I know it's not what you would see, but I think it looks, I like the look of it sitting here on the outside. So, and then what I'm probably going to do is put a mechanical pitch here that comes to a lever that you can use inside the driver's compartment so that you can use it as a parking brake. All right, so that's what I got for you guys today. Oh, a little warm out here. And we didn't get it all done. I know these videos could be longer, extremely longer, but I'm trying to keep them down to about an hour. So for next Thursday, I will have all those ground down, set, and then that way next Thursday we can work on the engine and throttle, because that's what I'm set on. Now, I wanted the Buick Bug is just, the parts came in yesterday, and what it is to make the hoops. And so I'm working on the designs right now, the thinking part. So I will go over probably that too on next Thursday. Then, yeah, that's where we're at. So thank you for joining me. Hey, if you have any questions, please, there's several of us online that are willing to help out. If you got questions, you can text or email me. I give you my advice, not that it's, the only way. But hey, thank you for joining me. Thank you. This is a lot of fun building with you guys. It's a lot of fun talking with you online about this, and I look forward to meeting you guys at any of the number of races coming up. All right, thank you.